Good morning, everyone. It's good to see a full room first thing in the morning. I see a lot of VIPs in the front. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone's a VIP for us today. Welcome to the 18th edition of HICSA and to the wonderful city of Bangalore. Let me first start by acknowledging Hilton and Embassy REIT for the owners of this complex, for making this wonderful hotel, and for then allowing us to have 2 wonderful days ahead of us. We're also absolutely delighted to have Chris Neseta back with us for the 4th time, and this time to one of his own hotels. So that's really a privilege. I'm looking for the, can someone get me the clicker? Thank you. Yesterday we had an amazing day, and started off with the golf in the morning. We had a Marriott tour. We had an owners meet where we had more than 110 owners at an event, which was really amazing to have that many owners. And it was a great evening, concluded with Marriott, Tony Capiano and the Marriott leadership team hosting us for what I think was an absolutely amazing evening. Even the weather played sport with us yesterday. Bangalore for us is a new location. We've been able to reinvent, reimagine our conferences, and we've been able to do 2 things that we have never done before. One, we created our first ever theme. Let's see if this works. And we also created these experiences, which has allowed everyone out here to do more networking and so forth. So, and I think that really is you'll see that change, right? So we came up with 3 themes: artificial intelligence, astute investments, and aesthetic interiors. And later today we have these breakouts which are happening along the lines of this theme. Tomorrow evening, in case you haven't signed up, we do have one of our bar hops, one of the experiences still happening. So in case any of you will still like to join us, please do join us. We have, and if you like a drink, we're going to be closing off at 7 Rivers Brewery, which is a great place to just cool down and get your hair down and just have a great time. So who do we have out here, right? This is we're at 595 as of 2 days ago. We may have picked up a few more. But as you can see, the last time we had such numbers was in 2012. So obviously, we are looking at a very strong HICSA and a very busy HICSA. We have a really good number, and that number of 22% for female participants is really exciting because it tells me the hotel industry is finally moving in the right direction. To have 125 women participants out of nearly 600, that is something which I'm really proud of, and we should all be proud of that. Another thing which is, I think, very critical to understand, and again, the second number on this slide is what excites me. To have more than 26% of the audience sitting in this room be owners of owner-related companies is absolutely amazing. We've been to many conferences, and this number is in single digits for most cases. And I think for me, and for most of us, whether you're a sponsor, whether you're a product company, the most important people in the room are the owners that are present. So I'm really happy and I'm grateful for all of you to being out here. We're from all over the world. Obviously, India, then Singapore, UAE, USA. So that's something which I thought we'll share. And now, Mission Impossible, right? We're not talking about the movie Mission Impossible. I'm actually talking about Mission Possible, right?
Such a feeling's coming over me. There is wonder in most everything I see. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream. I'm on the top of the world.
This is the end. beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend, the end of our elaborate plans.
So, doesn't it feel like that? That everything is possible today, right? We all feel like that rocky guy, running up the steps. The whole industry is buoyant. You can't get airline seats. You can't get hotel rooms that you think you can get at a bargain. Everything is moving in the right direction. Very rare for those of us who have been in India for the last 2 to 3 years, right? But this is pumping, and you guys are a great example of that. So, I am just going to talk a few things about and share some thoughts on where we are, and maybe talk a few things about, where the challenges are. But one of the things I wanted to highlight, we have seen growth rates that have never been seen before, right? We have seen RevPAR, which has grown for most hoteliers between 20 to 30%. And the last time we saw this kind of RevPAR growth was in 2008. And I'm not talking about comparing it to last year or previous. I'm talking about a lot of hotels are seeing this growth rate over 2019 when it was a normal year or what was there. And if, that is something which we haven't seen, and we wanted to share that. And if you haven't seen that growth, then my question is, did you miss the boat? Because unfortunately, there are not multiple boats leaving. So you then need to look back and see what is it that you could have done better and so forth. But I think we are at a very unique stage where we have a unique opportunity to correct what I think is in terms of rate, where India has been, because people say we are an expensive destination or not, but for the quality hotels that we provide, India is not, and I think finally we are correcting our rates to what they should have been corrected some time ago. And I don't see it as a one-time, option, right? Where is that growth coming from? One of the things that I don't think so people are giving too much importance to is what's happening in the manufacturing space, because that's not a one-time phenomenon that will get solved, today or tomorrow. Manufacturing, when it's starting now, that means these companies are here for the long term. They're not going anywhere, right? Look at, the government, of course, will do their own thing. But, they're looking at a 25% GDP contribution to manufacturing by 2025. But look at the companies that are coming in. Just Apple alone has got not just themselves, but all the companies that are around them. And this is happening in electronics, it's happening in pharmaceuticals, it's happening in automobiles, it's happening across the board. Aviation, I'm hearing, and maybe the next panel will be talk a little bit more about that. But we're hearing of Boeing coming and setting up, or Airbus coming and setting up manufacturing out here. Just imagine the possibilities if we do end up going in those directions, right? And I think it's just a start. And along with manufacturing, you get the room nights. And they're coming not just to the big cities, but to the smaller cities as well. Sorry, there we go. The other thing which is going to change and which is going to create demand for us is the infrastructure and what's happening on the aviation front. I cannot underemphasize as to what is happening on the infrastructure front and aviation front, right? Just a lot of money is going in. A lot of it is going to, you're seeing some of the new roads coming up, the new trains coming up, the new highways coming up. A lot of this you'll see before next year's general election. And you know what? If a project doesn't open, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Maybe it's slightly delayed, and I think it will be back. We are already the third largest aviation market after China, United States and China. highway construction. Who would have imagined that you could go from, let's say, the Oberoi in Gurgaon to the Raj Vilas in 3 hours? It's possible. I know people who have done it in the last few weeks. It was unheard of. Look at how that is going to change the ability for people to drive to holiday destinations and so forth. Who would have thought, and it's going to happen, that you're going to have a road connecting Nariman Point to Navi Bombay and Panvel, and you can be there in an hour and 5 minutes and be in a complete wilderness. It's unheard of, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen this year. And those of you who don't know, you know what, it'll just take you by surprise. So if you haven't started planning your hotel projects in those new locations, whether it's Panvel, whether it's somewhere else, you're missing out on the boat. And then, you know, where are the demand generators? Sure, G20 has been a great year for a lot of hotel companies. G20 will be here till June, July. But the sporting events, again, something that we're not giving too much focus to. It started with IPL 10 to 12 years ago. But today you have the women's IPL, you have a Kabaddi league, you have a football league. And by the time, in the next few years, we'll have all the leagues of the world because we're a big population and we need to keep our youngsters challenged. And then, of course, we all love that big fat wedding. That is why Jitu built this hotel too. That is why everyone, you know, we all want those big fat weddings to come in because they are great fillers for us and they bring in so much revenues, both from a rooms perspective and also from the F&B perspective. There are a few concerns, and my biggest concern is we don't talk enough about it, and I will accept that even we don't at the conference talk about it, which is right? We never give enough attention to people who work for us. In fact, we let go of so many people. That's why a lot of people that were let go, particularly at the starting jobs, don't want to come back. Because we end up being we're a traditional hotel approach. Hoteliers have not necessarily changed the way they hire and bring people on board. The work-life balance is more on paper than anywhere else, right? It's a horrible work-life balance, particularly if you're working at a starting shift in a hotel and so forth, and we're not doing enough to address that. Senior leadership has taken care of their pay packages. So I think if you ask me, senior leadership is being very well paid. They may still complain because they have a voice to complain. But the gap between the guy who's working those 70, 80, 90 hours versus the person sitting in a corporate office is just too big, and we need to do something about it. We need to maybe pay better, we need to maybe hire better, we need to just change. I'm not an HR expert, but I don't think so enough focus is being given to the talent problem that is there, and it is visible in hotels, and most hotels are just poaching from one another rather than doing something to create that talent. Very few companies. The Indian hotel companies are still doing a better job than the international companies in trying to groom new talent. So what can we do? Again, I'm not the right person. Maybe look at hiring people from outside the industry. For that to happen, therefore, you need to have a different thought process. Maybe part-time work culture into the industry. I don't know. 3-day weeks, 4-day weeks, you're able to pay better, you're able to get the youngsters to come back. I don't know. Cross-skilling and holistic development. Again, I just wanted to leave these thoughts, hoping that the speakers who come after me can pick up on these trends because this is a big challenge. Last two things. Focus on profitability, that's very interesting. I am increasingly seeing brands starting to focus more on profitability, right? I've seen brands declare that we're going to do a X percentage GDP, or we're going to next year target for something, and they're then following up on it. Never used to happen in India. It's happening. It's a great thing. Looking at revenue metrics on a per square foot basis, right? Should you not know which restaurant is generating what kind of revenue for you? How much are you generating per square foot? It's very easy for a brand to come and tell you, let's make a new restaurant out here. Do some analysis, do some data crunching to know whether you really need it or not. Energy cost, that's your second biggest cost. Why wouldn't you focus and put more eyes on that? And then crunching numbers. I mean, that's what we do as an asset management company. We come in, we look at it, we do a diagnostic to see how well or badly you're performing, and then make those changes. Finally, jumped ahead. Finally, follow your passion. I think it's very important. Whatever you do, have a passion, go after it. I've had one for a long time, and I've finally decided to jump into it. Perhaps the most riskiest part of life. And I decided to open a new restaurant. 3 weeks old, doing very well. Hopefully some of you will make it. Maybe if you tell me you've registered, we'll get you a discount, but do try it out sometime in Delhi at the Manor. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you have a great day and enjoy yourself. Before I move out, I do want to thank all our sponsors. Without you, we won't be here. So a big, big thank you to all of you. And we have many of them today. It's crowded. Do stop by their stalls and say hello to them. Goodbye.